Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 6, I believe, either 6 or 7. Let's check that really quick. This is episode 6, because we did 5.1, 5.2. Okay, so this is episode 6 of building a game in PyGame for our computer programming class. And today, I don't know how long it'll be. Hopefully it won't be that long. But today our project is to add a wall class so that we can start to actually build the maze that we're going to be in. So to get started, let's create a new Python file and call it wall. Now, inside of our wall class, let's go ahead and import PyGame. And we're going to be building a class. Whoops. Wow, I can't type all of a sudden. A class. Dang. There we go. A class called wall. It's going to be a sprite. Dang, having a band-aid on your finger and trying to write code doesn't work very well. Anyways, we're creating a wall object and it's a sprite. A wall needs a few, just a few values here. I think we're only going to need an X and a Y value for each wall. And then, we'll pass a width and a height as well. We'll make it a little easier to build our walls here. So we got an X, a Y, a width, and a height. Of course, it's a sprite, so we need to initialize its superclass by initializing the sprite class and passing it the self argument. Next up, let's go ahead and cast our variables. So self.x equals x, self.y equals y. And if you've noticed, I'm starting to move a little bit faster through some of these videos. It's because as you're learning more and as you're watching me do some more of this stuff we've done twice before, right? When you set this stuff up, we've set all the same stuff up over here in our laser class. And all the same stuff was basically set up over here in the player class as well. The only difference is this time it's for an object named wall. So here we go. Just like any other sprite object, we need a color to fill the image in with. So let's go ahead and import data. And then jump over to data really quick and let's add a new color. Let's add the color gray. And gray will be equal to maybe a 150 all. So 150, 150, 150. That's our gray. Right over here. Now, coming back over to our wall class, we can create our self.image equals pygame.surface, because we're not actually using an image, so here's where we would load. Normally, if we were using an image, this is where we would load the image. We'd do pygame.image.load, and then this would be the file path in a string like that. But since we're not loading an image here and we're just wanting to do a rectangle, we're going to do pygame.surface with the values self.width and self.height. Continuing on, self.image.fill, because we want to fill it in, and we've decided that data colors of gray is going to be our color for this. So that's a good one. Now, let's set up our rect. Woo. And build the update function, which, as you'll know, is just self.rect equals self.x, self.y. Alright. And that's our wall class basically built. Now to test this out, let's create walls equals pygame.sprite.group. And you don't need to follow this with me. You can if you want for testing purposes, but we're actually going to be deleting this code and building another file here in just a second to handle where all of our walls are going to be. Then down here, let's just do test wall equals a wall. At x, maybe 50, y 50, we'll give it a width of 100 and a height of 400. So it'll be a big block, right? And then walls.add test wall. Game import wall. And if I'm moving a little quick here, it's because this is just more for testing purposes, not for anything else. Really quickly down here, walls dot draw screen. Oh, walls wall dot walls dot draw screen wall.walls.update. Run that, and we should have a big chunk of wall right in the middle of our game. And sure enough, we do. We've got a big chunk of wall right in the middle of our game. Look at that. Our players both still move around and shoot. And we're still seeing collisions with the lasers. So that's good. They can both shoot at each other. Anyways, we see that our wall's in. Yeah, that's pretty good color for wall. It might be a little light. We could come over here and drop these down to maybe 100 each. I usually like my walls to be a little bit darker, but you can make them whatever color you want. Just as long as these are all the same color, it'll give you a variant shade of gray. So we've got our walls in. So we come back over here to our wall group. We can get rid of our sprite group, and we can get rid of building test wall. We can come back over here to game. We don't even need to import wall anymore. And we don't need to draw any of these walls. So now we've got a wall class that works. And the reason I got rid of all that stuff because we're going to create one more file. This Python file is going to be called map. Inside of our map, we are going to import our wall. So inside a map, we're going to do something here. Import wall. We are going to use this to kind of build a series of walls that you won't be able to cross through. So there's two ways we could do this. One, we could come back to wall and make it so they have fixed width and height and build a block map where you have to come in here and change zeros to ones to put your map in, which is something we very well could do and would be very easy to do. In fact, I kind of really like that idea. So why don't we go ahead and do that? Come over here and let's change height to 20, or sorry, width to 20 and height to 20. So both these values are at 20. And alright, so both of our values are set to 20 now. I don't know why there's an H there. There we go. Which means that no matter what we do, anytime we build a wall, it'll be 20 width by 20 height. So we come in here, let's create a class, or yeah, it'll be a class called map. This will just be an object. And inside of map, we won't actually be passing anything to it. It's going to have an array. This is going to be called blocks. And this array will be... Ooh, 20 is kind of big. So we need to look at here. If it's 20 pixels in each block, and our game window is 800 pixels wide, that is 800 pixels divided by 20 means that our width is going to be 40 units. So I'm actually going to bump up our width and our height of our wall to 40 by 40 so that we only have to do 20 by, I think it's 15, if I remember correctly. Oh, 600 divided by 40. Yeah, 15. So you need to build a 20 by 15 grid of zeros now inside of our map class. If what I just did doesn't make any sense, I'll make sense right here. Do 20 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Put a comma at the end, grab all of that, and duplicate it down 15 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Get rid of the very last comma, and we're good to go. What we have just created is a series, a big grid basically, where all of our blocks are representing a 40 by 40 pixel space inside the actual game window. So now let's create a... Ooh. Sorry, you can hear the dog yelling in the background. Ooh, he's being loud. What is he screaming about? I don't know. He's getting excited about something. He should shut up here in just a second. Anyways, so we're back to our blocks. We need an ID, a way to figure out what block goes where, right? Because right now, this is just an array that goes on indefinitely, and we need to be able to cast it. So let's say we have a width is equal to 20. And this, of course, is going to have to be self.width. And self.blocks. And then self.height is equal to 15. Because we've got a 20 by 15 grid right here. And that's going to bug me, so hang on, I'm going to just... I like having our... Hey Cole, will you go see if somebody's at the door? Oh, okay. Alright, so we've got all of our blocks set up. We need to figure out a way to index all of these blocks. Unless... I'm trying to think if this is the easiest way to do this. Parallax array interfacing. No, okay. We're going to redo our map class a little bit just because this isn't going to be the easiest way to do it. And it is a beginner class, a beginner series, so I'm not going to go that crazy with it. Let's just do this. Let's say self.blocks equals PyGame, sorry, self.walls equals PyGame.sprite.group. So that's our, we should probably import PyGame. There we go. So that equals PyGame.sprite.group. Now, we need to add walls to this wall. So inside of its class here, its init function, we need to say, maybe, let's start with our border walls, right? So this isn't the most optimized way to do any kind of map, but it's going to make it the easiest for our purposes. And because we're doing it this way, come back here and give this a width and height value again. Because we do want to be able to let that all work out. And the reason that we're doing that is because we can say top border equals wall.wall. So we're creating a new wall at 0, 0 with a width of 800 units and a height of maybe 32, because our players are 32 by 32. So it's creating a very long, thin rectangle that will function as the topmost border of our game. And we can test this by saying self.walls.add self.top border. We got right here self dot. Really quickly write our update function. And our update function is going to have a surface passed to it because we need to draw. We need to draw our walls to something. In this case, it's going to be the surface. And then we need to update them. So that's going to handle, our map class is going to handle everything. And we're just going to say map or game map. We'll create that over in the actual window. So we come over here to game and import map now. We can say down right here underneath our players, we can say map equals map.map, and it's going to have no arguments in it. It's just self, so that's good. We've got a map. And we can update this by just calling right down here map, which is our name. Where did we capitalize it? Ooh, we had to capitalize it. Let's just call this game map and make it a little easier to access. Game map dot update and pass it screen, and then game map dot draw. Wait, we don't need to do that because we're already drawing the game map from in here. Okay, so there we go. We've got a wall along the top border. Now, the problem is our players can still move through it, but it's a wall. Alright. So, I think the only thing left to do here this has been a decently long episode so far. We've gotten our wall class set up, and we've gotten our map class set up. I'm going to have you guys, while I am off camera, I want you to do those in between episodes, start setting up kind of how you want your map to look. So say you want a bottom border next. We'll create a bottom border. It's equal to a wall.wall, because we're creating a new wall. Add an x value of 0 and a y value of 600 minus 32, because its height's going to be 32, so 600 minus 32. So 568 is where we're going to be placing this. I'm going to give it a width of 800 and a height of 32. Save that. Self.walls.add self.top border, or bottom border. Save and run. And if we see this now, we have a border on top of our game and a border on bottom of our game. So go ahead, before episode 7 comes up, work with these to start putting together your map. The next time we come back in, we're going to make those walls so that you can't actually go through them. Because right now, both of our players can go through the walls, which is not what we want to have happen. You know, we want them to stop when they hit the walls. And in order to do that, we're going to have to write some code in the next episode. But until then, your goal is to go ahead and set up all of your walls. So, for example, here's our left border, wall.wall. Left border will be at a 0x, a 32y, because it's starting 32 pixels down. And it will be 32 pixels wide, because it's going to be a vertical wall, and 600 minus 64 tall, so 536 tall. You might have to do a little bit of math to figure out how these need to be sized, but if you just sit down for a few minutes, set your mind to, I'm going to build my map, you can go ahead and start building your map. And as you can see there, we've got our next wall. So take some time, work on that. We'll be back in episode 7 with some code on how to make these walls collidable so that the players cannot slide through them. And then as soon as our walls are collidable, the very last thing we're going to need to do is give ourselves an endgame function and some sort of score. So when the players hit each other, it actually does cause them damage, which we see on here. We're printing the health, but when they get below 0, because they're not a sprite, we can't just kill them. So we're going to have to write our own personal function to explain how to kill these sprites. Well, not sprites, but these images. So that'll all be in the next episode, a little bit of collision meshing, and then hopefully we'll be able to wrap this whole series up in less than 10 videos. Anyways, thank you for watching, and happy coding.